My name's Sandy and I'm a cinematographer.
What is one aspect of your creative process that you couldn't live without or couldn't do what you do without?
So I guess what I couldn't live without is access to nature. So spending time in the forest, spending time in the wild, that's pretty much where I do all my thinking, my problem solving. That's where I get all my inspiration from. And I spend a lot of time just kind of watching light and how it behaves, and going out with my stills camera and experiment. On a sort of technical level, I guess what I couldn't live without is my viewfinder app. So I've got an app on my phone that lets me model lenses and cameras, and I take that around and I frame things up and see what would work and what wouldn't work, and then we use that to kind of inform how we're going to shoot scenes.
So just tell me about the project that you're working on right now.
What we're working on right now is a historical fantasy film called The Goodman, and it's set in the 1700s during the Highland clearances, and it follows a factor's journey to evict a village in the Highlands, and it goes very badly for him. When he gets there, the villagers have invoked a demon to punish him, and yeah, basically he's got to survive in the Scottish wilderness from there. And I won't give anything away because I'm famous for spoiling things, giving away spoilers. So, but it's very. The Goodman is the project I always wanted to make when I started photography and filmmaking. It's basically just a love letter to Scotland and how beautiful Scotland is, and also how you can find sort of healing in nature. That's basically the core of the story.
In nature is a massive part of your process. How did being out in nature and nature being essentially like a massive character in this film, by the sounds of it, like something that impacts the main character and everything like that. Mm-hmm. Was there any moments when you were out that you're thinking, I'm going to remember this when I'm 70, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look back on fondly.
I'll look back on the whole thing like that. It's really a once in a lifetime opportunity to work on a film like this and be given like sort of carte blanche to put my own visual stamp on it and show Scotland the way that I see it. And hopefully I've done that with my cinematography on it. A lot of the time there's not much work to be done anyway because Scotland's doing it for you. Like, I know that sounds cheesy, but we live in a stunning place and it's such a diverse landscape. I mean, we've got everything here. I mean, if you want to film any kind of landscape from on Earth plus off of Earth, Scotland's got it taken care of. So the whole thing. I'm even filming in places around Fife. I mean, we shot the opening teaser for the film in Cowdenbeath, and it fucking looks amazing. It's stunning, and it could be in the Rocky Mountains or something, you know. Scotland's just. I'm constantly in awe of Scotland, always.
I know you say that this is like something you're going to look back on very fondly, but if you had unlimited opportunity and like what would you want to make, and if you don't want to tell me what you want to make, like who would you want to work with?
I do mean it when I say that the film that I would want to make, I'm making them now. I would like to make a similar film with a bigger budget, obviously, so we could literally do whatever we want without thinking about it too much. If I could work on any project, I would love to make something like Children of Men. I don't know if you've seen that film. Something quite on the opposite end of the scale. Camera-led, a lot of single takes, high action, that kind of thing. I think the person I'd like to work with the most would probably be either Denis Villeneuve or Chivo, Emmanuel Lubezki, but he does my job, so I guess I'd be his assistant, but I'd take that, yeah.
How did you get into your field of work?
I started getting small commissions with my stills photography, and that kind of got my name out on social media, I guess. I also had a drone and Robbie Davidson was making a film called Dick Dynamite that I didn't know anything about. I passed him on the street one day, and he was like, I heard you have a drone. Could you come along and do a shot for me? So I went up and did a shot for him on this huge shoot. And that from there, that kind of, I caught the bug for being on a film set. I'd never seen how it worked before, and just the level of teamwork and problem solving and camaraderie, and yeah, I just fell in love with the whole thing. So I just made myself available for anything and everything that I could do to help that film from that point on. So I got myself a better camera, taught myself how to shoot video because I had no idea what I was doing, got myself a gimbal, and I would literally just turn up and make myself useful. And because that film took 4 years to finish, by the end of it, I'd kind of worked my way up within that production to be in DOP on most shoots. I shared the credit with 2 other guys. So yeah, I was just so lucky that on my first ever film that I worked on, I got to do the role that I wanted. And I didn't really know what a DOP was, a cinematographer was, until I was on a film set, and I knew straight away. I was like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. From there, from Dick Dynamite, I just made so many connections that turned into, oh, I've got this project I want to work on, I've got this piece of video I need done, and it just kind of spread out from there. And then someone seen the film at a film festival and got in touch with us and was like, I want you guys to shoot my film. We're filming in New York, we'll fly you over. So we went over and did that, shot a film in New York. And I also met Ian, who is now my main collaborator. He was the other cinematographer on Dick Dynamite. So it's just kind of snowballed out of nowhere. I mean, obviously there was a lot of intention there from me that I wanted to get into that field, but everything was almost by chance. You've obviously got to be in the right place for these things to happen, but it's just a snowball. It was just a snowball effect.
How did the film in New York go?
So we went out to New York and we shot for a week in the 5 boroughs. So we did a day in each part of New York, shot a wee bit in upstate New York and New Jersey, and it's like a proof of concept for a sort of. Have you seen the Austin Butler film? What was it called? Caught Stealing.
I've seen clips, but I've never seen the film.
It was very close to that.
Or was it?
Which came out after. So I've kind of come to terms with the fact that it'll probably never get made now. But it was almost the same concept. So it was a heist film. Mm-hmm. But that experience was amazing. I mean, I thought at that point, oh, this is it. Like, we're going to America. Like forget my life here. I'm going to be in Hollywood or whatever, but that's not how it works, unfortunately. We might never see that film. But the experience was unbelievable. And again, it kind of reinforced that, like, this is what you should be doing. Look at these cool things. You might not be making a lot of money, and you might be struggling job to job and blah, 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 but what could you be doing that's cooler than this? You're getting to fly around the world, you're getting to travel around your own country, meet all these amazing creative people, learn from them, and just have these great experiences, and that's like priceless, I think. So I'm definitely where I want to be, I think, or on the way to where I want to be anyway.
Could you give me the inspirations you have when it comes to filmmaking, whether it's cinematography or directing or anything like that? Who would your, say, top 4 be?
Top 4 cinematographers? Mm-hmm. Wow. So number 1, Chivo, Emmanuel Lubezki. Number 2, Roger Deakins. That's hard. Number 3, Greg Fraser. Who would I put it in number 4? I'm going to go Alfonso Veloso, who's just done a film called Train Dreams. Oh, you have to watch Train Dreams. Yeah, he's going to be, judging by that film, I think he's going to be a legacy artist. Like, he's absolutely, that was incredible work that he done on that film. So that's my top 4. And I would love to meet or work with any of those people. I'm going to see Roger Deakins actually in July in Edinburgh. So I'm proper fanboying about that.
You're filming The Goodman on anamorphic lenses. Why did you choose anamorphic lenses?
So, to me, I mean, a lot of other filmmakers will disagree. I've had spats with some of my pals about this. I think the aspect ratio that anamorphic gives you is the most cinematic one. So 239:1, letterbox, as most people call it, is the way I remember seeing films when I was young. So I go to the cinema and you'd see these big epic films, I don't know, Jurassic Park, whatever back in the day, and Independence Day, you know, these huge blockbuster films. And they're all shot in that wide aspect ratio. So there was that. There's also the way that it renders landscapes. Everything looks huge and super wide, and we wanted to give that feeling that the main character is really at the mercy of this huge landscape that he's in Scotland. And the anamorphic lenses give you that. That's not to say you couldn't get that with spherical lenses as well, but just for this film, we wanted it to feel like you were watching a blockbuster from the late 80s or 90s, and which is the era that we grew up watching films. And that was my experience as going to the cinema when I was young. There's downsides. I mean, they flare like crazy. If you point a light anywhere near the lens, you're just going to get that J.J. Abrams lens flare right across the middle of the image. So we've had a lot of problems with that. Anytime someone lights a candle, you're getting this huge sci-fi lens flare, and you can't really focus them. I think the minimum focus distance is 30 centimeters or something like that. So there's a lot of playing around with adapters, and the widest lens is a 24mm, so you can't go any wider than that as well. But hopefully people will agree when they see the film that it was the right choice for this. It gives you that Lawrence of Arabia, this film is huge, larger than life feel.
If you were to compare the Goodman film to other films, story-wise, feel-wise, atmosphere, what would you say? The
Goodman is, if I was to sort of compare it to anything else that I've seen, it's a bit like The Ritual meets Pan's Labyrinth meets The Revenant. That's probably the easiest way I could put it. It's got folk horror elements, it's got fantasy elements, dark fantasy elements, kind of Guillermo del Toro fantasy elements. And then, what was the last one I said? The Revenant. But it's almost entirely shot in the wilderness. So, yeah, that's the 3 films I think it takes the most from.
Are you handheld a lot in this film, or is it statics?
I would like to be more handheld, I think. But it comes with its problems as well. When you're shooting on a big heavy camera with long lenses, you get a lot of shake. The stability isn't the best in the Blackmagic cameras either. A lot of it in the wilderness was shot shoulder rig, documentary style, with the camera quite close to the actor. We've got a fair few shots where we've dragged a jib into the woods or the forest, so we've got jib arm, but that's pretty much it. I would shoot everything handheld, especially now. My style is definitely more suited to handheld, I would say, but again, it depends on the story. Some things you just want to lock the camera off and let the blocking or the scene do its thing. But it really depends on what the story needs in each moment. Practicality-wise, we're not going to drag a big tripod or a Steadicam to the top of Monroe, so you kind of just work with what you've got on the day, kind of thing. So
the second one is a simple steal it for Letterboxd. Top 4 films. What are your top 4 films right now?
Oh, how dare you. I'll forget something and then I'll be kicking myself. So my top 4 films, and these are all for different reasons, not necessarily story, or they might have a different thing each. But like, my top 4 films are The Revenant, Saving Private Ryan, Children of Men, and The Wizard of Oz. That's my top 4 films, I think, right now, today, off the top of my head. So you can watch Dick Dynamite, the movie, on Amazon Prime right now. Also Superterranean, which is out under my film company as well as on Amazon Prime. The Goodman will be coming to film festivals this year, and hopefully you'll be able to see it in the cinema next year. I also have a film called Newstone that's coming out sometime. You can check out the Square Go podcast on YouTube. My Instagram is Alexander Henderson DP, and that's it.